Okay, welcome back to the channel. It's another episode of some Cash Game Play and Explain, Cash Game tutorial. Top right, I just wanted to roll real quick because this is a free roll that happens every day on GG Poker. You get chips added to your stack from coolers and bad beats. The daily 100k thanks GG flip out, so yeah. It's a little fun sweat on the side. We're actually doing quite well. We're already in the money. It sounds like a plug or a sponsor. I'm not affiliated with GG. I'm just playing on GG. Just so you know, this is just me playing some poker and talking about strategy. God, we're flying it in the free roll. It's going to distract me a bit as we run deeper. But anyway, today we're going to focus on Zoom tables, fast-paced tables. They're called Russian Cash on GG. Previous two episodes, if you haven't seen them already, were just regular tables, slower tables. I should really close the balcony door. Right, wait 2 seconds. Shout out to anyone who noticed me reach to the wrong ear for to pull out a headphone when there was no earphone even in my ear. What a run out. We've played a board. I'm gonna bluff my jacks now. Ay ay ay. Okay. Shit, camera. Oh, what's going on with this free roll flip out thing? Just, I don't know. How much is up top, man? It's 100k. Fucking, it's 100k in the prize pool, so there's a lot of people paid. Imagine we won actually several $100s from this. The most I've won is like $50 from this free roll. Okay, so first, the main difference between regular tables and Zoom tables. Well, we'll just talk about, there's not much differences, but one difference that comes to mind is, how to explain it, there's less patience and discipline required because when you fold, you get dealt a new hand straight away. And that affects things. So I imagine you're going to see ranges a little bit tighter as we're winning a 700 big blind pot over here in the all-in flip out free roll. But yeah, people are going to be a little bit more disciplined, which will make ranges a little bit tighter, which will make, you know, when people are getting bored, when people need more discipline, when there's more discipline and patience required, that's when you see people struggle. That's when you see people kind of making the loose calls, playing too many hands pre-flop. But again, just being able to fold, get a new hand straight away, it helps a lot of, mainly recreationals, but it'll affect everyone across the board. Being able to fold straight away and get a new hand instantly, it helps with the discipline and patience side of things. Where like live poker is the other end of the spectrum. You know, sometimes in live poker you're gonna have to wait a couple of minutes for the next hand. Oh, we're out. $30 though, I'll take that in free roll. So yeah, live poker is like that other end of the spectrum where there's a lot of patience and discipline required. And online, like people have several tables, it's much faster action. There's definitely substance to what I'm saying here. Anyway. We flop bottom two pair here on the ace king jack against a weaker player. I suspect is a weaker player. I'm gonna start raising. If you bet big, I would have just check called and protected my check call range. And it's also like, as much as we have two pair, our equity isn't like, there is quite a low ceiling to our equity here. First of all, there's a flush draw on board, which means any flush draws in his range is gonna give him equity, which he obviously does have. If he has a hand like ace 10, he's got like, you know, he's got a bunch of equity. Even a hand like king queen can hit a queen, can hit a 10. We can chop on an ace. So our equity isn't through the roof, and this is a game of equities. We could go for a gangster bluff if he bets the river, but I don't know if it's necessary against these player types. The pool got a lot softer as the leaderboards just ended, well, nearly an hour ago now. I mean, I don't know, it goes both ways. There was a few like weaker regs and recreationals that you could tell were playing hard for the leaderboards, and they had big stacks, and they were probably quite tired and sleep deprived. And it's a pity to see them go. You know, I won't name any names. Let's get this audio on point today. So yeah, some more $1-2 stakes for you online. We have been recording an hour of our session every day, kind of not just like click and record at a random hour in the session, but putting together an hour of less tables, and I have in mind some things I want to discuss over the hour. So yeah, it's not totally a random hour out of my session. Today we have the random number generator, the RNG. Not going to dive into that too much in this episode. We'll leave that till a bit later. As simple and silly as it looks to have RNG here, it's actually the meaning behind it is quite deep and sophisticated. And just so you're not curious, it's about to touch on it briefly. It's in poker. If you want to play good theoretical poker, you want to be balanced. You want to have mixed frequencies. In some spots, you want to bet sometimes. You want to check sometimes. In some spots, you want to three bet sometimes. You want to fold sometimes. And us as humans, we'll struggle to really find a true balance there without kind of leaning to one or the other. And this just helps us stay nice and balanced when we want to just do something at a 50% frequency. But there's a time and a place to use it. There is a time and a place to use it. I wouldn't really be using it against the green tags, the recreationals, the weaker players, because you usually have a piece of information that's gonna sway you one way or the other in terms of what play you're gonna make. It's generally against like other professionals in a really kind of common spot where you're just completely torn down the middle. Anyway, yeah, that's enough about that. Ace Jack wouldn't normally be a 3-bet in these positions. As for this Ace 10, this guy's kind of nitty though, so I'm a little bit intimidated by his opening range. I do want to 3-bet the green tags lighter than default, of course. A big part of cash games is just building pots in position, preferably with good playable hands against weaker players, and value betting heavy, you know. The strategy changes when the games are tougher, but when you're in some good lineups, I'm gonna go tiny here, which I think especially against weaker players, it just defines their ranges. Let's say he checks. Let's say he snap check called. Don't know what happened there, but let's say he snap check called my two big blinds. He's going to really cap his range there. He's going to really like let us know that he's got a weak range. And when he snap check jams, you know, it's pretty straightforward. I think that tiny size can make recreationals play quite face up. It'll make regulars and professionals play face up at times as well, but they're just better players will exploit that weird little size in a bit more and attack it, and you'll actually be giving them a good amount of information as well. I'm gonna check raise the ace king 5. This is a very good board for us. Out of position, I'm gonna be doing a decent amount of checking and a decent amount of check raising. I think it's a cool, like, we don't really show down that much at all. We block his ace queen, we block his, I mean, king queen off. It shouldn't really be bet calling the flop, but we're really applying a lot of pressure here to a hand like ace 8 of clubs, etc. 10 minutes into the video, right? I'm feeling some traction here. I'm feeling like I'm in the zone now. Thankfully, it didn't take half the video for me to get focused. Their kicker, hello there. Hopefully showdown against the worst 8. Our kicker still plays. Oh, okay. It's a good hand. Like, I get, if he's checking the river to check raise, I get it. Like, I get why he's just checked really quickly, but I don't know if you can check raise the queen of spades. I'd rather, well, I guess he doesn't want to bet and then have me, like, raise him. Then that's in an awkward spot, but I don't know. I think I'd lean towards betting the queen of spades there. And check the nuts. Second nuts. Queen of spades is the third nuts there, right? But yeah, you mightn't even see me use this randomizer, by the way, because we might keep getting situations where I don't need it because something will sway me to one decision or the other. Yeah, ace, king, queen, third nuts. I'd check like my weaker flushes and then like first nuts and second nuts, I think. Because they can happily check raise. And the weaker flushes just, you know, it's not too much value in betting them. I mean, yeah. The more I think about it, I'm just like betting the queen of spades. Anyway, we're gonna bomb the ace 9 of clubs with our equity, fold out sevens through even jacks. Oh, sorry, he defended the big blind, right? I thought it was 3-bet pot for a sec, but still, all those pairs under the queen, under pairs to the queen, just have quite a natural easy fold versus a big bet there. This is another nice spot to barrel. We unblock hearts. He's got a decent amount of ace high in his range. He's also got a bunch of underpairs like the previous spot. We block top pairs, but our blockers aren't that relevant because like queen 9 of clubs isn't calling the flop. I wouldn't say so. Okay. And king queen of clubs might, but I don't think so. So I'm gonna re-raise here. I'm gonna get frisky with it. He could just have queen x of spades, but we're gonna go all the way. I mean, I'd say the best possible hand he can have is ace queen, which is a really good hand, and he'll probably like won't fold that by the river. But I'm not worried about much else. Like, I'm not completely discounting a hand like 8's full, but he's probably going to raise that in the flop. I really expect him to raise a lot of 8x on the flop, trip 2s, even though there's not that many in his range. Anyway, barreling big with our equity. I don't like bet folding a bunch of equity, but I don't think we're going to get jammed on here much at all on the rainbow board, top left. So yeah, nice comfortable bet. Although you can't, I was just, my good friend Ike posted a little computer solution when he was reviewing one of my hands that I played yesterday, and the moral of the story, or the main takeaway, was the solver bet the turn really big in a spot like that with a lot of equity. It was a double flush draw board, and I was thinking, oh, we check back our flush draws on the turn because we don't want to bet a flush draw with a huge size on the turn, get jammed on and have to fold. But we actually do. If we get jammed on, we just there is a lot of checking with flush draws, but we still will bet high equity hands even with that risk of getting jammed on. You know, so you don't want to get in the habit of like always checking back those high equity hands on the turn in fear of getting raised. And I did that for months. I'd be kind of just always, I'm going to just go ahead and fold the ace jack. Sometimes I might autopilot peel there, but I think it's really dusty. Our equity just shrivels up against the check raise. Where was I? Yeah, betting turns with high equity hands when your opponent can jam. And the reason we do have we do bet in spots like that is because when we take that line, when we take that line and the draw is complete on the river, let's say we're always checking back our high equity hands on turns in those spots. Now when we bet the turn big and the flush completes or whatever completes, we don't have any flushes because we're always checking them back on the turn, right? So that's why you need to have some high equity turn barrels. It might sound obvious, but I mean, it's kind of went full circle for me. In the earlier days, it would be like a no-brainer. Oh, you bet with equity. You know, you turn a flush draw, you bet. But I was doing it in a bunch of spots where actually you're checking more often because of, like I keep saying, that horrible prospect of getting jammed on and not realizing your equity. It's a game of equities. You want to push equity in this game. You want to fold out equity in this game. You want to realize your own equity in this game. That's why position is so important. You know? Because you over-realize equity in position. I'm going to 4-bet ace-queen. It's like my favorite 4-bet hand out of position in these spots. Should have probably looked at the stats, but yeah, they're fine. I would have still 4-bet anyway. Okay, it's enough about the high equity turns. That ace-queen off is a good spot to just roll 50-50. And you see so I'm overdoing that ace-queen off there. I just know myself, I'm basically always taking the ace-queen off there. I would just straight up be probably improving my overall game if I said, okay, I'm going to do that 50% of the time in that spot, just to control my frequencies a little bit. And you can choose certain suits, and that's your way to kind of randomize and control your frequencies. Or you can just go click, I'm going to 4-bet this time, click, I'm going to 4-bet this time, click, going to 4-bet this time, okay, going to 4-bet this time, not going to 4-bet this time. Eights I'm actually going to fold reg behind, reg opened. It's just a fold in theory anyway. I'd only deviate if there was some whales in the mix. I don't have any sign-up links for GG or anything like that. As I said at the start of the video, I'm not affiliated. But I'm sure there'll be a couple of people that'll be like, oh, what's this side? Oh, I might join up on this side, like every now and then. Ace, king, okay, 3 spots here. Just gonna go 1/3 here, keep it simple, easy fold, and I'm kind of tired of sizing up on the flop against fish when I don't have it. You know? I've been kind of staying balanced when I don't really need to, and this might be a fine hand to just half pot anyway because it's, you know, he can still call with worse. We've good equity, 2 overs, backdoor, non flush draw, yada yada. But more so, let's say I had king, queen of clubs here. I might just like size up because you kind of have big bets on these boards when we have like a huge overpair advantage. Showdown against ace, queen off with the queen of diamonds. Close. But yeah, what was I saying? But I got a friend. I got a couple of mates that like are sponsored by GG. And wouldn't it be very nice of me to plug their sign-up links? But yeah, I am just an independent content creator. Always have been. Was in talks with sites at times, but I don't know. I guess I travel a lot. I move around a lot, so that really disrupts my consistency with streaming. Just like now, I haven't streamed the last few weeks. I need a suitable internet to get installed. I also need a new equipment. like a new PC or just a big gamer laptop. So 3-bet, C-bet on the queen 8 deuce. Yeah, just check back. Okay. King 9 is close. Queen 5 suited is not close. Well, it's probably peeling. We actually start 4-betting queen 8 suited, queen 9 suited, as they're like the hands that start to call. I kind of like overbetting this, do I? The first thing I think about with my combo is like, do I block any good hands? And obviously he can turn trip 8, so you block king 8 of clubs, which is relevant. 9-8 off. Having a 9 is good because it gives us equity. It also like, yeah, this is nice. And obviously it's troublesome. We might have to bet and call a raise here. Don't know too much about this guy. Because we block ace king, you know. And he could say, oh, this guy never has ace king. He could also have pocket 10s in his range though. Yeah, unsure. Limp. Good old limp, eh? Okay, we got some playable hands. Don't want to check raise. Well, I do want to check raise my queens, but I'm just too worried he checks back, you know. I said it in the previous episode. Try and not rely on other people putting in money when you're moving up through low stakes and mid stakes, micro stakes, all those, you know, any mid stakes and below. Obviously, the higher stakes you get, the more kind of reliable your opponents will be in terms of like putting in money. And by putting in money, I mainly mean two things. Not to go over it again because I did touch upon it in the last episodes, like I said. But the two things I mean by putting in money is bluffing. Did you ever hear of fucking bluff, lads? Everyone's such a big soggy nit. Bluffing and value betting thin. They are the two things I mean when I say like putting in money. And people underdo both of those drastically. Recreationals, professionals and recreationals are always getting better and evolving over the years, so they get a bit more appropriate. But yeah, the amount of times that I just check the river expecting someone to just find a bluff, find a value bet so I can get my check raise in, and I'm like, time and time again, how have you checked that back? How have you not bluffed this hand? You know, how have you not value bet this hand? I mean, I guess they were right because I was trying to check raise them, but you know, don't be results biased. I know I read the YouTube comments of other people's poker content, and you know, there's a lot of results biased minds out there. It's not the way you go about life. Not fold fives here. He doesn't seem too out of line, and ranges are tight. Before I learned how to play pre-flop correctly in cash games, I'd never fold a pair in position, you know? But because of how this rake environment works, if you haven't noticed already across, this is my third episode now of playing 6 max cash, I don't flat much at all, only in the big blind, right, when we're defending, but it's a pretty heavy 3-better fold strategy. Because the EV of calling, the profitability of just calling pre-flop and letting other players in behind and letting other players squeeze behind, and the pot's already got no antes in it, and the pot's getting raked, and it's the rake that really puts the nail in the coffin and just kills the EV of your flat call. But when you create the possibility to like take it down pre-flop, and in a lot of sites or in a lot of casinos, like they don't rake pre-flop as well. So you just win an uncontested unraked pot, and it's just, I mean, if there's a reason why it's been known for years, and the solvers like to do it, it's because, you know, it's great for the win rate. Just a little bit of Hollywood with the ace-4 diamonds on the turn. He did overbet, even though our hand is a very easy call. Don't want to snap call and define my range too much. I respect this check back because a mistake that I would make in his shoes is value bet again on the flush completer after my opponent has called a very big bet / an overbet. And you need, once turn action has gone overbet call, you need to be effing careful on the river, you know, on like, you know, board changing rivers. Hello, set of trees. We can check raise this. People might start stabbing their sixes through queens now. What's going on here? Yeah, small size. He is playing this quite strong. Fuck, man. He's going to fold everything but sixes anyway. He's going to fold sevens and stuff versus check raise. Okay, nice. Maybe he's bluffing as well, like, you never know. What does he have? Ace-4 makes sense. But other than that, just goofy bluffs, like maybe he's just taking off a queen-jack. Hopefully he's got ace-4. Just gonna jam. Yeah, he was just goofing around a queen-jack, and that's... I'm glad that I didn't check raise the turn and just thought about it a little bit, you know. Very happy with that. Not that it was super amazing by me to just find a check call there, but I avoided a bit of a, you know, a mistake. I avoided a mistake there that I definitely make sometimes from like lack of focus or too many tables. Just stop, think about his range. Slow cooked, calculated decisions will get you financial freedom in this game. Ah, no, I can't say that. But most of the time, bit of talent, bit of hard work, combined with those slow cooked, calculated decisions, and you will get boats and hoes. Could call. I think I'm just going to send it, man. The times we've got a 2% edge on ace king off. I mean, maybe calling is just going to have, like, it's the EV of like getting all in. Well, we pick it up pre, which is nice, but sometimes. But when we flat, we also play a big pot in position with a very nice playable hand that can dominate a lot of his bluffs, like king queen suited, ace queen off. I wonder if he'd ever like fold ace king in that spot. Probably not against me. Bit of background noise on the street. You probably don't hear it. I have a decent mic. But if you do, sorry about that. I can play some tunes. Yeah, I'll play a little bit of that meditation music actually. It's I guess it's a very tiny little thing that tiny little thing you can do in these Russian cash tables or Zoom tables. Well, on any site where you can fold in the big blind before the action's on you, like, see, we can always just fold straight away. You can do the same in the big blind. So I came up with the conclusion that, and we're getting an example right here, that I can just min raise. First of all, change my size, bring my sizing down to a min raise in the small blind, and min raise more hands. Because this guy could have already folded. He's either waiting for me, I'm just want to make an example out of this spot. He's either waiting for me and saying hurry the fuck up, or he's already folded when the action was on like Ankes. So let's see. Okay, he was waiting on me. But like sometimes I'll min raise there and it's just like snap fold. They had already folded. So like basically the big blind is folding a lot more in these games, in this format, than like a normal game. So yeah, little thing you can do. I mean, you don't need to do it. You can do one or the other, or you can do both. You can size down based on that kind of read on how this pool works, or you can just open more, or do both. But like my standard is just 2.7, like everything. 2.7, all my opening range. It's like fold or 2.7x the small blind. And then sometimes I'd 2.7x and I'd know that they had already folded like 30 seconds ago before the action was even on me. And I'd be like, oh, it's a bit of a waste, kind of like the times they actually are there with a hand, I'm putting in the extra 0.7, and the times they're already folded, like I don't need to put in that extra 0.7. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, 3-bet pot with aces, really bad turn. Probably the worst turn in the deck. Just completes a lot of straights. I think our equity isn't, you know, our hand wants protection, but how much protection are we really get? To get protection, they need to fold their equity. And like, it's a common misconception. A lot of the times, the hands that you're really afraid of, they're not going to fold anyway, right? Like, if he's got pocket eights with a club on the turn there, okay, that we're not going to get protection from pocket eights with a club. Easy check back now. We're not going to get protection with pocket eights with a club on the turn, right? We're just building a pot against that hand. Bad implied odds here in case this guy's got ace 10 and we get second nuts, first nuts. Dun 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 dun. Gonna 3-bet my 10s. Gonna squeeze my 10s. What's this guy looking like? Quite nitty actually, over a smallish sample. Alright, whiskey. He's playing 24-18. For the beginners in here, I'll explain what these, explain what 3 of these stats mean, because I don't even really know. The third one is like attempt to steal. Like, I know what it means, but I don't know specifically like what they're counting. Like, what counts as a steal? Is it cutoff? Is it button? Is it all of the above? Gonna call here with our equity. Okay, looking good when he checks. Nice. Here with the king jack, he check calls a small bet in the flop. Yeah, I don't like not having a club. Not like that. Probably gonna lose the 5s and stuff. 4x. Okay, VPIP means voluntarily put chips in pot. So anytime they're putting chips in the pot other than when they have to post the blinds. So that's what percentage of hands they're playing, basically. A very valuable stat to know. The next one is pre-flop raise. So how many of those hands are actually raising pre-flop? And what you're kind of looking for, the ideal opponent is someone who's playing a lot of hands, like 30% and beyond, but they're only raising about 15% of hands, which is like most recreationals that would have those kind of stats. And what that is loose and passive. Terrible combination, loose passive. Just playing a lot of hands, but just letting your opponents realize equity, over-realize equity, just trying to, because, and it makes sense, right? That's the most kind of common thing you see in beginners and recreationals and casual players, fun players. It's because they're just playing they're playing more of a game of, they're trying to make hands, they're trying to make good hands. So they're entering in the pot, they're not really doing much else other than just trying to hit good hands and get money in. And that gets very kind of easy to play against. So yeah, and then 3-bet is how often they like this raise versus another raise. Like the 1-bet is the big blind that I have to post. This is a 2-bet, and this would be a 3-bet if I was to raise, but I'm not. So yeah, that one's for the beginners. Shout out the beginners. It's a very fun journey. Very, very fun journey. Okay, Jack 7 of hearts. Yeah, we could barrel. We could definitely check back. Open ender, flush draw, but like, I'm gonna check back. Because there's a lot of dodgy stuff that can happen, and I'm happy to just not build a pot. These are bomb pots, by the way. Every now and then there's an extra 10 or 20 big blinds put in the pot. I mean, it's nothing special because they rake the games. There's extra rake in the games that go towards those bomb pots. Like the GG is high rake, but it's got three things going for it. It's got those bomb pots. It's got pretty solid rake back. And it's got leaderboards. Solid leaderboards as well. So those three things combat the really high rake, but it is a really high rake. Did I miss the United game? Fucking Asian time zone. Sometimes I miss my my football. So he check calls 1/3 and leads half pot. What in God's name is that? What's going on here? I've really bad blockers. Like his first bluffs I can think of is like Jack 10, Jack X of diamonds, Jack 9, misdraws. We block all the misdraws. Terrible hand choice. I'd rather call sixes to jacks because sixes and jacks are the same thing. They both beat an equal amount of value bets, right? He's not betting anything in between jacks and sixes there. So jacks and sixes beats the same amount of stuff, but jacks really blocks his weak hands there. So sixes end up being better, and it's another thing that beginners will do, which is very natural, or even intermediate players. It's just they won't think about it that way. Seems like a good combo to 4-bet. We'll roll it, but I won't roll it. I'm just going to pure 4-bet. Because folding seems a little weak. It's an interesting one. Like, it feels like I'd be really happy with myself if the solver says to 4-bet that pure, because it makes sense. Feels like too weak to fold. Sorry, too strong to fold. A little bit too weak to just call out of position in the cash game environment. So 4-bet. Really nice components to 4-bet. Really nice properties, as Sam Grafton says. Oh yeah, just what beginners do and intermediate players do is just think about their hand in absolute strength rather than blockers and stuff. I might just... How much is this guy 3-betting? Okay, I'm gonna call. He's goofing around a decent amount, it seems. Like, our hand is dreadful. I might bluff my ace-9. Try and fold out 5, 7, 6x, ace-4 even, stuff like that. Yeah. Gonna check raise king-jack here versus button in particular. Need to work some top pairs into our check raises to balance our range. I'm not going to get 3 streets. I'm not going to check raise, bet turn, bet river with this hand. I'd rather let turn go check check and then bet the river handsomely for value. Not this river though, but like a 7 or something. It's got a decent... We just check fold now, I think. So here with the king 3, we could put a lot of pressure on ace-x. We're in the big blind. We've got the most 6x. He could definitely have 6s, but he should never have hands like 6-5 suited. And he should only have pocket 6s here. And this is why I don't like flatting the small blind. Your range is so fucking face up. It's like small... This is small pairs so often. We beat some flush draws now, mate. Like, if he did flat some suited broadways, queen 10 of clubs, queen jack of spades. Yeah, it feels weird to try and like bluff ace-x. And he can just put us on a wide palette of missed flush draws. And just like hero call ace-x anyway. Oh, he did have the 8-5 of clubs, nice. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I saved the hand there. Oh no, I took a screenshot. And I want to make sure to put that, to save that screenshot before I forget. Check, check on the 10-7 deuce. Yeah, I'm going to start betting my jack 9. Get value from ace king, ace queen, king queen, 8s, 9s.
Alright, what we going for?
And just a little insight to like how you improve at poker. That ace-4 of clubs that I four about, just took a screenshot, put it into a Discord channel with my friend, and we can either like run it. I mean, it's very easy to run pre-flop spots now. But yeah, analytical approach to this game is a recipe for success. I'm gonna bluff my trees, fold out 5s, ace-4 suited, 6s, 8s. Even some better hands will be like, fuck this, I lose. This is the exact thing I'm talking about. Playing 38% of hands, the ultimate loose passive player. Dreamy. Extremely loose passive. And he does, this is probably like, I mean, we don't block aces or kings, so we kind of, it's one of the more likely times he's going to wake up with aces or kings, technically speaking. Although that was literally like 100 to 1 that he found a limp race there with those stats. But that's okay. We would appeal to well, probably wouldn't appeal that many hands, but the thing that's nice about Jack 10 off there is we've no issue with raise folding our equity, because there's not that much equity. We called a 3-bet here, okay. Blind versus blind. Hey, whiskey, eh? I'm gonna check raise the 9-8. I still think he's gonna check a decent amount of ace-x on the turn because it is a flush completer. What has he got? 10s? Queens with a club. I mean, if he's got like any ace-x hand, he doesn't need to like bet ace-x pure on the flush completer. He can check some of them back. But maybe he doesn't check many ace-x back on the turn. Anyway, felt like a cool spot to go for a check raise. Very cool. Oh, the mic's picking up a lot of shit, man. Hopefully it's not too bad on the audio. Towards the end of the series, the little mini YouTube series we're doing here. Oh wow. Just been running it once. Yeah, we might, towards like maybe episode 10, 15, we'll play some higher stakes stuff. And it'll be like really advanced game theory stuff rather than kind of exploiting fish. And it'll be those kind of games where you'll be seeing me randomize quite a lot of spots. Ace 7-7, I imagine we do a decent amount of checking. Like, it might seem counterintuitive. I know in the old school days, a really dry board, you bet really dry boards, but now the big blind has got a huge nuts advantage. Like, he's got way more strong hands than us with 'cause he's got way more 7x than us. Gonna keep him honest. Oh, come on, Sven. I think this is the one type of player that we can fold the turn against. And I'll bring up my notes super quick. Is now the time to fold? Is fold the best play? I think that was a good spot on the turn. Actually, now when he checks, I'm feeling quite confident. Although we could still have flushes and trip 7s that are just scared on that river. Yeah. Basically, how many outs did we have there? 4. Putting in money at very low equity. So now was the time to fold on the turn there. That was the time to fold. And yeah, focus. You know, do pot odds every time. I've played poker for years while just kind of doing pot odds roughly in my mind and not being super strict about it. And I was actually making a lot of errors, which is sick to say. This is more of a tournament thing. Raise first in, non-all in, 10 bigs effective. DTO is a very good training app that I use to get better at poker. And you can play like 10 big blind effective tournament spots on DTO to really get you sharp. Call in position post flop. Power of position. Do not give timing tells. The call in position is just like, if you're getting check raised in position, like, try not to re-raise too much, generally speaking. There's always exceptions, but use that power of position, leverage position. If you just stack off in position, which is something I do a lot, you're just negating the positional advantage. And you're like, that suits your opponent down to the ground. He can just stack off and realize his equity. So yeah, find those calls. Even when it's a bit scary just to call. Like, just, let's see a turn, let's see a river in position. You know, and we'll reevaluate whatever the turn or river is. We'll reevaluate and decide. Don't like freak out and try and protect your hand in position too much. Autopilot is the opposite to excellence. Yeah, there are a few little notes. 9s calling. Okay, 7s opening pure. Last 10-15 minutes of the vid, we will try and zone right in here. Play some intense, fast-paced, focused, precise cards. Jack 10 off. It's a little bit tempting with the green tag in the mix, but it's just a fold in theory. Queen Jack's right in the line as well. Go on then. GG is high rake, remember. Go on, I'll check the 7s, man. The reason I've kind of nearly cringe at checking back boards like this is because I never really do check boards like this. Oh, why do I want to bluff this guy? Well, it's obvious. He's betting small on a card that's kind of good for me. Yeah, I will start bluffing. I mean, don't be shy, Sven. It's too easy, mate. Too easy. Queen 3 suited, right on the line. Oh, but there, that's the thing. He already folded. I could have just min-raised that. Try and keep that in mind a bit more. Min-raise heavy small blind strategy to take advantage of all those. I was going to say that all those impatient players that fold the big blind, but there's nothing wrong with doing it really. Like, if I had 7-5 off here, I'd probably just fold. Because if you get walked, you still get the chips. They're quite good at like still giving you the chips when you get walked. Wow. Ankas, what are you saying? Okay, yeah. I'm all in. We'll pick this up pre-flop, a decent chunk. Ankas is a bit of a fuckboy. Fuckboy hipster, that's what this tag is. 21% tree bet. He's playing 31, 24. Bunch of stealing. Absolute thief. King 10 with a heart probably continues in position. King of Diamonds as well, which gives us some decent removal on turns and rivers. Wow, so he's got queens or some shit. Jacks, queens, maybe an ace king himself. But this is good scenario, unless Ankes just snaps off with fucking aces or something. We block those hands. King 10 is a really nice bet because we block both flush draws. Queens, kings. Oh, he's just trying to induce action from Ankes. Been running it once. I know it's a 300 big blind pot, but let's run it. Queen, queen. Barry Greenstein, one time for the boys, for the YouTube. Oh. 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 Hello there. And it was at that moment the 3-day downswing ended. This is Daniel Negreanu. Given a poor guy having to sit through that, man. It's unreal how toxic this site can be. Speaking quickly on the toxicity of this site, one of my pet peeves is when people will like suck out on you. Let's say I just said thank you to that guy after I scooped that 300 big blind pot and 3 out with him. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. And it's the people who like aren't confrontational in the real world, and then they like vent online is their place to like be a toxic little shit without any repercussions or consequences. I hate it so much. So if you want to get me on tilt, just play a hand. Step 1, play a hand really badly. Step 2, get it in behind against me. Step 3, get there. And step 4, say thank you. Oh, you're going to start overbetting now. See, the mistake you're making is you're putting a lot of chips in the middle when the best hand you really have is 1 pair. So Bon Voyage, we also block ace queen. Hopefully he didn't check back queens on a flop, which might be a really low frequency play. That is in the realms of possibility, but so unlikely. He might just fucking go the distance with king queen. Jamming? How does he have anything? He checked back the flop. Am I losing my mind here? It would be nice. I love playing really, really deep stacked. I do love playing really, really deep stacked. Check on the flop, so he doesn't have sets of 7s, 5s, 4s. At least he shouldn't. He shouldn't have any overpairs. Maybe aces and kings, but queens and jacks, they don't really go for the check back because they're more vulnerable and they benefit more from protection and along with the value. So yeah, the plan was like he calls a raise there, we just jammed the river. And like expect him to like have a really tough time calling with ace queen, which I thought was the absolute tippity top of his range, ace queen, which we block. So it's like it's kind of more likely he's got king queen now, queen jack. I stand by that play. Come on, give me some more hands. That was a nice get there for 300 bigs. I honestly, like, I've been running it once for about 5 days now. Me and the lads are talking about the benefits of it and like this and that, and we came to the conclusion that there's 2 things about running it once. First of all, it strikes a little bit of fear into your opponents if they know you're always running it once, right? This strikes a little bit of fear, and a little bit of fear can go a long way in this game. Like, it can really like hurt someone's game, that bit of fear. The other thing is, if we expect ourselves to have a better mindset than the majority of our opponents, and when we're setting high standards and we're trying to be like top professionals, we should have, you know, a better mindset, a stronger mindset, thicker skin than most of our opponents, which therefore means we run it once, ramp up the variance, our opponents are going to handle that worse, especially the recreational. That's kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to run it once. Phil Galfond likes to run it once. He's got a whole training site called Run It Once. Not that there's any strategy on running it once or twice on that training site. It's just a cool little name. However, I do regret running it once the last few sessions because Jesus Christ. I mean, it's the other thing is like it'll toughen you up running it once. It will. I really think it will. And we've been toughened up the last few days, man. Day 3 of like losing a lot of the all-ins running it once. Kind of started becoming numb to it. But yeah, some people just like to run it once, some people like to run it twice. It doesn't really matter. Do whatever you wish, you know. Do whatever you're happy with, comfortable with. I lost a 2k pot in the apps running it once a couple of nights ago. We opened Jack 9 of hearts in the hijack and the big blind defense, who was like a splashy player. It comes 8-7 deuce with 2 hearts. So we've got 2 overs with Jack 9. We've a gut shot to the nut straight with a 10, and we've got the heart draw, the flush draw. We bet he check raises big, we call. Turn comes a 9, which completes a bunch of straights and gives us top pair. So we've Jack 9 on 9-8-7 deuce with a flush draw. He overbet jams for 3x pot, and the stakes are like $4, $8. And he just overbet jams for 3x pot. We think for a second call. He had king 4 of hearts. So he had a pretty like naked flush draw. And he happened to have a live overcard as well, which he was lucky enough to have. And I was like, do we run it? He wanted to run it twice, and I was like, nah, fuck it. You know, this is the kind of, we want to stack this whale. We want, you know, we want to see blood, not because we want to see someone, you know, get hurt, but it might benefit us. It's a game. You know, like, there's no friends at the poker table after all, right? If he's gonna go tilting his mind off, then let's run it once. Anyway, he got there with a king. So yeah, it was just a long-winded bad beat story. Sorry about that. It's just and like they kind of copied GG with the slow river peel, and I saw that it wasn't red because he dominated me with the if the flush completed, he wins. Because he dominated my flush draw. I actually had got there on the turn, first of all, so it's not that bad. But we had like 75% equity. Oh, Stinky Fish. What are you saying? I'm tempted to call. Loose passive. Raise. Good cards. Alright. You know, it doesn't mean that he's not going to have like pocket 4s that got counterfeit, 8-7 of clubs, queen 10 of clubs, even just a random 8-7 suited as a bricked open ender. Like what's he trying to say he has, yeah? Like king x of clubs? I don't buy this, man. In we go. In we go. He had 10-6 suited, okay. Loose and passive. You know, when he pumped in money, he had a full house. I like to put a little star here. I learned this from one of my buddies. Kind of like means that the read is getting more solid. Bet equals good cards. It seems anyway. King 6 suited could be one of these funky 4 bets, but go on. We'll do it 10% at a time. So if that number was above 90, we would have rolled it. Forgive me if I was looking at the hand replayer with my face cam in the way. I mean, I was looking at it, but I hope I wasn't trying to talk to you about stuff on the replayer because you couldn't see it. I'd love to play some pots with a player like 200, 300 bigs deep. Ace-8 probably should open into this lineup. Come on, Sven. Like, the ideal lineup for Ace-8 off in the cutoff. But yeah, playing a really deep stack pot would be a nice little variation on the content. Deep stack poker is always fun. If you like the content, please do not forget to hit me with a thumbs up, and more importantly, just subscribe if you want to see more. What's to come on this YouTube channel? Why subscribe, in other words? Well, we're going to be doing vlogs, live cash vlogs around Asia, Vegas, all over the place, all in good time. We're going to have professionally edited stream highlight videos from our Twitch streams when we're back streaming on Twitch once we get Wi-Fi installed. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a decent shutdown. Flat queen 6 suited cut off. I think I was supposed to say 200 NL there. So why am I not continuing turn with ace of hearts, queen of spades? We don't have a diamond in our hand, which is bad. We have a spade and a heart in our hand, which is bad and bad again. We want him to have a missed backdoor flush draw in hearts or spades. We want to block him having a hand that is diamonds. Like, if we had a diamond in our hand, we'd barrel the turn there because we'd block some of his continues. But what we had there with our ace-queen suits, as we got our wish here playing a deep stack pot in position. Ooh, yeah, our suits with the ace-queen were the worst suits possible. We blocked snap folds, like the backdoor flush draws and spades and hearts that missed on the turn. We blocked those, which we want him to have, and we unblocked the diamonds that we don't want him to have. Wow, look at this. This might make him slow down with aces. It also gives us ace-queen equity. Sorry, ace-king equity. I don't think I'm going to play any raises. Right, we don't want to see a 3 or an ace. Wow, just imagine he just sends ace-king here. We're going to see D-Negs do a little dance. Right. Ended the video nicely. Getting some value against Queen 10. Ace-King offsuit, give me the sugar. Ace-7 suited. Woo! My boy, sent it to oblivion. That's a big boy pot right there. Is there anything to go over from a strategic standpoint there? I mean, I don't know if his 4-bet is a thing in theory. Like, I only really learn 100 big blind ranges. Things get a bit more kind of creative and freestyly when it's 200, 250 bigs deep and beyond. As he played it, his bet on the flop and turn seems totally reasonable. His jam on the river seems a bit dicey. It really does, because we're going to have ace-king in our range. We're super deep stack. We could definitely call ace-king in position there and have a bunch of ace-king combos, like ace-king off and suited. Like, in fact, we're probably just calling ace-king pure there. So I'd say the biggest critique of his play was just sending it on the river. But I did something really similar yesterday. I'm not going to go on a tangent about some random hand history, but I did triple barrel a missed flush draw in a big pot for 300 bigs. Very, very similar actually, now that I think about it. But in my spot, there was a bunch of better draws that I could fold out on the river. I had 6-5 of diamonds on a double flush draw board where both flush draws bricked, and it was like king 8-7 7. And yeah, we just sent it off. But anyway, it'd be nice if I could actually pull up that hand history. Yeah, appreciate you sticking around again. There'll be another upload tomorrow. And yeah, subscribe. Get in the mix. My socials will all be in the bio. I am trying to see if I can find this 6-5 suited hand from yesterday, as it was a humongous pot. Dun, 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 dun. Nah, looks like it's not on the timeline. Oh, maybe. Getting close. How big was this pot? Where's full of queens? No. Thought this was supposed to be like the highlights. There's a bunch of like shit in there. Ah, this is old as fuck now. Right. Couldn't find the hand history. It was actually, the more I thought about it, it would have been a really cool hand history to pull up. But yeah. Peace, lads. I'll talk to you very soon.